Praise Life Morning Show. Good morning, everyone. It's the Praise Life Morning Show.
SPR Live FM, Fun City Radio FM, Magachu FM 93.3 in Ghana, and Success Radio, the Praise Live Morning Show.
Have you ever wondered how to save your money and where to save your money or how to make money? Having money is not necessary for building wealth. Wealth is a long-lasting plan going on for generations. Let Wanda tell you how. Tune in to Wanda's Wealth Moments every Wednesday at 9:30 and learn how to.
Good morning, my friends, and welcome to another segment of Wanda's Wealth Moments, where every week you get to listen, learn, and earn some facts, bows, and tidbits about wealth. And yes, you got it, as usual, the weather too. So what are we looking at right now? It's cold. Did I say not cold? It's cold. Okay, very cold. It's -9 right now, but it's saying it feels like -16. Ooh, we are in for a deep freeze. Oh my goodness. And today it looks like we're hitting a high of up to -6. So okay. All right. I'm not excited either. When we're in the negatives, I'm never excited. I don't think anybody's excited when we're in the negatives, but it is what it is. What are we supposed to do, right? So I know it's supposed to be a bit of a tough week as well. It's going to be really cold this week. So bundle up, be nice and warm, and all the little kitties out there, extra layers. I know when I was my mom used to throw those layers on. Holy jeez. You couldn't even, all you saw were little eyes. That's it. That's it. Okay, so it is going to be freezing. All right, those are my words. My words. All right, folks. So I know last week we touched on the subject about life insurance, and I was going through a scenario with you, an actual example, right? And I wanted to finish that off with you this week, part 2, because I'm sure after what you saw last week, some folks might be thinking, "Oh my goodness, I don't know, we should have gone one way over the other. Why would we go this one way over the other?" Okay, so at the end of the day, it's just for you to understand that when you're dealing with folks out there, different ages, from different generations, it's not a cookie cutter solution, okay? So the whole thing is to make sure that we present information out there, especially when I'm working with folks, is total transparency of how things actually work, and it's all about the numbers. And if the numbers in your head make sense to you, and I can't dispute it after I've just broken it down, and if it's something that you say, you know what, I think I would go with, scenario A over scenario B because for me it makes sense, and it makes sense to you. Who am I to try to force you to do something differently? All right. The end of the day is, the facts are the facts, the numbers are the numbers. You can't dispute the numbers, okay? It's either you accept it or you don't. That's what it comes down to. I think how life works, right? Accept it or you don't. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll go through the second part of what I started from last week. All right, so let me flip over here. Okay, so here we go. Can we see? Think so? Yes. All right. Okay. So let's continue on. So basically, just a quick recap. We talked about a 57-year-old female who is actually looking for $30,000 of coverage just to cover for final expenses. So just let me preface that this is a situation where, and I'm seeing this a lot with folks that are, mid-50s and up, okay, where they're not ready for retirement. They didn't really have enough set in place, or whatever they have is just barely enough to get them through in retirement, okay? And now they're thinking, oh my gosh, what happens if something happens to me? Okay, so this is that type of scenario, and this is just one strategy Okay, one solution that's out there. Okay, it's not the end all and be all, but it's just to give you an idea of how things work. So when we discussed this last week, let's recap. All right, we were looking at, let's work here. Okay. Two types of policies. There was a term 25, so a 25-year term, and a term 100, basically a whole life that has a savings component to it. So at the end of the day, we understood about the concept. I think I discussed that last week about buy term, invest the difference. I love that concept. It is a fantastic concept, as long as you understand how it works and who it works for. Okay. So in this case here, when you look at the 25-year term for 30,000 of coverage, it would cost $25.33 a month, as opposed to the term 100 or whole life, where it would have cost $63.04. So we're talking literally just over 2 times more the cost, all right, for 30,000. All right. So with the buy term invest the difference, we understand that if it costs less, it frees up that extra money that you can throw into your investment on the outside, into an RSP, a tax-free savings account, whatever it is, you can throw it outside. And if you get just a conservative type of return, let's say 5%, annually, okay, it's not guaranteed, but this is for example purposes, all right, that's working and growing. So it seems logical, it makes sense, yes, okay, it's a fantastic concept, all right, buy term invest the difference. Now, overall, it does work, it absolutely does work, but we have to look at the age of this individual, and there are other factors to consider as well too. Now, at age 82, at year 25, because this is a 25-year term, in that last year, she'll be paying that $25.33. That's it, that last year, okay? Like she's been doing all those years prior. In her investment side, which is outside of the policy, it would grow to about $16,247. Not bad, still working and growing, okay? Still doing its thing, because she's been investing that $37.71 every month into that investment. And again, where did that 37 come from? Well, if she had $63 on the other side, which she's not spending, she's using the 25-year term, literally you take the difference. 63 minus 25 is 37. So that's what she would do. Take that difference and invest it. Perfect, okay? But the problem then happens after 82, because now the policy is coming to the end of its term. What happens? Well, she's older, she's much older, okay? Right, so it's not going to be any less. When you get older, unfortunately, you're more at risk to pass on. So at 83, you can see the cost has now jumped to $222 a month. Ooh, that's scary, all right? That's scary. And at that point, she'll probably have about 17,000. So what's the problem here at this stage? Well, this person's probably already in retirement, even if they happen to be working, hopefully not at that stage. Okay. The whole thing is they're probably in the retirement stage, and this is a situation where that person did not have enough saved up over the years, or is barely enough for them to continue on living their day-to-day, okay? They're just barely covering their expenses. So how are they supposed to fork out $222 a month at that point? Not. That's hard. That's hard. Okay, even if they decided I'm going to end my policy at 25 and now use that $37 difference, add the 25 because they're no longer throwing it into a policy. So now they literally got $63 they can continue throwing into their investment. They no longer have 30,000 of coverage. All they have is just the investments. Okay. Is that an ideal situation? Maybe not necessarily, because at this point, all right, now they're just banking on whatever they have in their investments. And if it's not growing fast enough for them and they pass away, God forbid, they could be a little bit short. Family could be short for what they need to cover final expenses. Okay, so those are things to consider. Now, on the term 100 side, the whole life, here's where it gets a little interesting. Now, remember we talked about there's a cash value there. Yes, there is a cash value there. All right. Now that cash value, it's literally just you building up your savings. If you don't have $30,000 right now to cover final expenses, you'd have to build that up and save that 30,000. So that's literally what's happening on the whole life side. Okay, they're helping you build and save. You're basically just saving that up and building it up over those years while they're still protecting you. Okay, that's all it's there for. It's not to make any big set of investments or growth or anything. It's literally saying, hey, you know what? You don't have the 30,000 right now. We'll essentially spot you right now, but we'll also help you build up that 30,000. It's your money. We'll build it up on the other side so that you can pay for it over time. Okay, that's really what it is. But here's a big difference. They also have what's called guaranteed paid up values. So let's say over those years, maybe now at year 25 or year 30, let's say year 30, you decide, you know what, because you're older now, I don't want to pay for insurance anymore. Okay, I think I'm a little bit tired of that. No problem. One of the things with this program, what it allows you to do is take the cash value that you have there and purchase insurance outright. So you literally take that 18,000 that you see in year 30 and purchase 26,000 of coverage outright, done, paid for. So now you no longer are paying $63 a month. You have $26,000 set aside. That's it. Okay. And that should be able to cover final expenses at the very least, bare bones minimum. Okay. So it's not a worry anymore of whether or not you can cover or your family can cover final expenses. You have that in place. Okay, that's the key difference between the two. So at the end of the day, buy term, invest the difference. Is it the best option for somebody that's older and maybe their situation doesn't allow for them to produce that extra money that they're going to need to throw in there to maintain 30,000 of coverage? So let's quickly have a summary here. All right, let's summarize this whole thing between the term 25 and term 100. All right. With the 25, your total premiums you would have paid up to at least age 83 is $9,422. With the whole life, $19,668. Woo, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to pay, okay, over that time period. But look at the difference. After that 25-year period, that cost is going to increase 8 times, okay, after age 83. Whereas now, after age 83, say that 10 times, okay, the cost will remain level. Okay, it does not change. Now, again, I need you to understand, you have to look at the type of program that is out there. Is it the one where the cost of the insurance is going up every year and you're only paying a level amount? Because if you are, you got to be mindful of that. Because if you're only paying something that's level and the cost is going up, where are they getting the difference from? That would be the cash value. So you got to look to see. There are plans where where that happens, and there are plans where that does not happen. So in this case, we're looking at a plan where that does not happen. It's literally just level up to age 100. Okay, so there's no increases here. The third point is there's conversion options. Yes, at age 83, when you're looking at the term 25, but again, it's going to become very expensive over time, all right, over those last 15 years. On the whole life side, the coverage remains in place to age 100, or like I mentioned earlier, you do have that option to purchase the guaranteed value outright based on the cash value you have in there. Because remember what I mentioned earlier, the whole purpose of that whole life program is not about having investments and whatnot. It's about literally just helping that individual build up the 30,000 they didn't have up front. That's literally what it's doing. Okay. Number 4, the total premium paid to age 100, look at this, is approximately $58,000. And that's based on, if we use those numbers after age 82, where it jumps to $222 a month, and they continue paying that, that's what they would have essentially over time paid, $58,000. On the whole life side, $32,000. So when you look at it, it's like, oh, I paid $19,000 earlier on, but then over the whole course of the time, $32,000 compared to $58,000, big difference. So the cost will far outweigh the coverage, whereas on the term 100, the whole life, in this particular case, the cost was reasonable for that guaranteed protection. That's really important to understand. Okay. No two people are the same, no two situations are the same, but it's about breaking down the numbers. It's not about my opinion, my view, because, there's a lot of folks where they're kind of stuck on one cookie cutter concept, which, buy term investment is fantastic. I'm 100% for it. I love it. But you also have to be mindful of the stage of the life that that person is in. Okay. You have to look at all parts of their financial home, their financial situation. Okay. Can they manage it? Is it affordable? What things are in place for them so that they can maintain the coverage that they're looking for to 100, or at least, to make sure family has something in place to cover off the burdens of the final expenses and all other expenses involved. Okay. This is just one scenario, one situation where a person, they don't have too much going on. They're just kind of getting by, but they just want to make sure those final expenses are taken care of. They love the one idea of the buy term invest the difference, but the numbers just unfortunately were not working out for them. Okay. So this is why they opted the other route, knowing that they're going to pay a smidge more, but really, is it a smidge more? 32,000 compared to 58. That's what they were looking at for them. So at the end of the day, understanding the different programs that are out there can make the difference. Okay. Understanding how it works and how it affects you financially. Okay. And this is why transparency when working with an advisor is extremely important, so they can literally break it down. Knowing the different options or the scenarios is extremely important. It is. Don't get hung up on one side over the other. Just break it down, show the numbers, see the numbers, and then you can make an informed decision from that point on. So I hope that a little bit helps today. I will go through other scenarios outside of this, other strategies, not just on the insurance side, but on the investment side that can also help with those folks that don't want to get a whole life or those kind of things all the rest of their years of their lives, but other strategies again. So we'll continue working those kind of scenarios so you can see what's available, what's out there, and maybe make a decision for yourself, kind of what you like and what works for you. So with that, I hope that little bit of information helped. I hope to learn a thing or two. That's what's important, okay? And I want you to have a wonderful cold, it's cold Wednesday out there, but you could stay nice and toasty warm inside because that's where you should be. All right? Don't.
All right.
I'm not so sure about this cold day business. It's cold. Once it goes to double digit, it's cold. There ain't no turning back. It's cold.
No turning back.
Nah, it's cold.
Cold.
Well, thank you once again for for your tidbit there, and I like that. Ooh. When you get older, you have to plan wiser.
Older and wiser. I like that.
You got to plan wiser.
Yeah. I don't want to be older.
I'm so sorry, my dear. I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but you're getting older.
As you live and breathe.
Yep.
As you live and
every
breathe.
Every single day, you're getting older. Thank you once again, my dear, for sharing. Anyways, it's always a pleasure having you on, to making sure that we get up to date with not just our spiritual life and our physical life, but also our monetary lives. We need to put those things in place, because sometimes people don't know how to do it. They've never been taught. They've never been given any kind of advice, and hopefully this works out for them as well. This is the Praise Life Morning Show with the one and only wonderful Wanda's Wealth Moments. Thank you so much for being with us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Wanda.
Thank you.
Blessings.